stuff that I am gonna watch do I want to be heavy lifting from like a tone style, or
Just buy yourself a couple more TVs, get some Adderall, and
That's
just
right.
play them all at once.
That's right. Here's my bank
will
of 7
say,
TVs. I'm watching everything in the MCU all at once on triple speed.
I will say Hawkeye is relatively easygoing. Like that's a pretty
Okay.
solid, like chilled out kind of thing, and it's like everything else. It's 6 episodes, and it flies through.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking like anything that Florence Pugh is in now. I'm hyped to see because every time I ever see her in something, she steals it. She's in Midsummer as well, and she steals that movie too. So it's like, okay, I guess I will literally watch you in anything and then probably like it. But is where I'm at the moment.
Chances
She's
are
the
good.
Hugh Jackman female version for me.
Right.
Deadpool 3 is supposed to come out sometime this year or next year.
Oh, that's right.
Next year, they've confirmed it's 2024.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to that.
So, I still am disappointed. So you've got to think that Scarlet Witch is coming back for the Agatha show, like, kind of, considering where Agatha was left.
That's probably the place she would. Yeah.
So I'm still annoyed because I can't remember. It might have been Ryan Scott, former EGM editor, who mentioned this. But Marvel is struggling right now because they have to bring the mutants back into the fold.
Mm-hmm.
And he made the suggestion of you do a reverse House of M.
Oh, interesting.
So literally all it will take is a full stop. One full stop.
Mm-hmm.
You take that exact same concept of like she's losing her mind over her kids, which we've seen in the TV show. We know she's struggling with that.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw it in Multiverse of Madness. I think, and also it's called like Coven of Chaos is Agatha Harkness's show.
Right.
Chaos magic is Scarlet Witch's magic, so it kind of makes sense. But you take the famous panel, the No More Mutants panel, and you put a full stop after the word no. No, full stop, more mutants.
Right.
And reality can get twisted and bent into whatever you need it to be to bring mutants in rather than take them away.
Right. It's your chance, Marvel. Bring them on. In.
It's a genius idea. I think like literally all it takes is a full stop and you change the entire MCU for good.
You want to see comic book nerds melt down about House of M being twisted for Marvel's 2023. I would love to see it.
100%.
I read House of M, and House of M is really good, but it's also the comics don't have to align to the MCU stuff. That's okay.
Yeah.
House of M still exists.
If they don't.
It's probably still good.
Speaking of graphic novels, I need to read.
That's right. That's right. All right, you guys ready to start?
Yep. About as ready as I'll ever be.
All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast, episode 800. Yeah, yay, go us, yay. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Howdy.
And the Nymph.
Hello.
Patreon.com/E1M1.
Those ones are the digits 1 and 1.
We'll put another plug here for the Wayward Sons, the supernatural watchcast here from Moon and the Nymph. Season 1, Episode 1, the pilot episode, where they cover the pilot, is available on the free feed and the free Patreon feed right now. Came out this past week. Future episodes are at the $5 or higher tier on Patreon, and they are occasionally uncensored as well, so keep that in mind. The $5 tier is the recommended one over on Patreon. That gets you everything. If your rich friend wants to sign up for the Patreon, send them a screenshot of like, oh, it costs $250 a month, haha, lol, and then get them in there for that.
If you know Tony Khan from AEW fame, you send him our way.
If you know Tony Stark, have him spend $250,000 a month for our Patreon.
Yes, please.
It will be worth it.
They're talking about how millennials have all the money.
That's right. Yeah.
Cut down on the avocado toast. Actually,
right.
no. Eat more avocado toast. Cut down on the egg toast now.
I was
That's
gonna say,
right.
what was the new
That
thing that
money
we
instead.
were all blamed for now?
That's right.
Yeah,
Killing TGI Fridays or something. Who knows?
something.
Yeah, so take all that TGI Fridays money and spend it over on our Patreon. At the $5 tier,
You'll thank God it's Friday every day.
that's right. At the $5 tier, you also get access to the exclusive Uncensored Outcast, where we're kind of talking about everything going on in our lives and media consumption and drinking cursed drinks and eating cursed foods and things like that. That comes out alongside these episodes. You also get early access to We Rogue Like It, show where Moon and I are playing the strangest roguelikes across history. We're starting a brand new one. If you want to join us, we're playing Despot's Game. We're playing that on. It's available on Game Pass.
Yep.
And you get 2-month early access to Critical Misses, where Moon and I are catching up on all the media hits we missed. If you're at the $5 tier or higher, you get access to some of my favorite stuff we talk about, which is the production meeting. It's the kind of behind-the-scenes prep and discussion and discovery stuff we do for Critical Misses. We just recorded another one. I think those always turn out really well. If you join now, we've been doing the production meetings for quite a few seasons now, and season 19's just got posted on the Patreon feed. So you can get
Too
all
many seasons.
I know, it's a lot of seasons. You can get all of that stuff over at patreon.com/E1M1.
Ones equals numbers.
And for our 800th episode, I thought we would just do something special, which is talk about video games.
Nothing.
So, Moon, what have you been playing this past week? Oh, sorry, real quick. We do have a brand new episode of Game Club out, where we played Signalis. That is spoilery-ish.
Yes.
I don't know how to describe the story of Signalis, and I don't think we got any closer to actually discovering the story in that.
Don't even try.
Yeah.
Just don't.
So that's out in the feed right now if you're listening to the audio version of this show. Our next game for next month will be Norco, and that's available on Game Pass as well. So come join us for that.
Yes.
Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
You should know by now, Boston, that when it's a Game Club week, if you forget to do it, that's fine. I got your back, because my first game is Signalis. Check out our Game Club episode out this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about any Signalis here? Signalis was certainly.
Nope. It's literally just in my list so I can plug the Game Club episode.
Yeah.
That's literally why it's there.
And I think if you've played Signalis, or maybe if you're interested in it but you're not going to play it, I think we had a pretty great episode about Signalis. I would really recommend listening to that, because I think we break it down kind of as much as we can. And I think it's a game that we struggled with quite a bit, maybe for reasons you might not expect.
Yes, and I will say, if you are curious and you're going to listen to that episode and potentially play it or not play it, it is on Game Pass. If you can play the PC version of Game Pass, it has console commands, wink, to increase certain sizes of certain things, wink.
Make your experience maybe a little bit smoother, if you choose to do so.
Yes, I would say 12. 12 is the magic number for that game.
Right.
Because, yes, it makes sense if you listen to the episode. All of that makes sense. Yeah. Anyway, I played Anthem again.
Oh, yeah.
I finally got all of the collectibles achievements for Anthem.
All right.
Good on you.
That's including the random spawning collectibles in the free world, in the open world stuff.
That's the thing that broke me on that stupid achievement.
You're a braver man than I.
So almost 4 years to the day, the 22nd to the 15th. So I completed it on the 15th. The 22nd was the day I got my first achievement on it, 4 years ago.
Wow. So you have full 1,000 gamer score on that?
I have my full 1,000 gamer score on Anthem.
That is impressive.
I'm honestly surprised, because I was like, well, Anthem's gotta go to the top of my list now, like
Mhm.
because for those of you who don't know, I use TA True Achievements. It's a really cool website that has a bunch of like stat heavy stuff in there.
Yeah.
We'll say.
When they
It was
do,
all
they do
sort
like
of-
global community rarity for stuff,
Mhm.
which is always like, Anthem. You got this achievement in Anthem, and only 0.5% of other players on TA got this achievement too.
Yeah, so they have like their IPA or whatever it's called, not the alcohol. I don't know what it's called. Boston, you would know the thing that you leech off Destiny for.
Oh, the API. Yeah.
Thank you. That thing, not the IPA, the API.
You just have it backwards, whatever.
Yeah. It's all
Less
good.
yeast involved in Boston's
Right.
version.
Right.
They pull off the Xbox version of that.
Mhm.
So they have site-wide tracking and Xbox tracking for
Right.
all of that stuff. They now have, I think I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, like sales figures, when it was last sold, price alerts, all this kind of stuff. So for the longest time ever, Eternal Sonata was on my top 10 list of games that I have like achievements in. It was like number one
Yeah.
for almost like 6 years. It is now not even close to the top of that list.
Oh wow. Okay. That's
But
interesting.
Anthem doesn't hit the list either. That's the scary part.
Weird. Okay. That's surprising.
NBA Live hits that list, 15 specifically.
I was gonna say, where's Binding of Isaac? That's got to be way up there.
Nope, doesn't even touch it, dude.
Weird. Okay.
Skatebird does.
Just too many tryhards.
Okay. What's your
Snake Pass does.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. What are your top three?
Dead by Daylight. That
Okay.
is that's a little cheat because Dead by Daylight has got like 17,000 gamer score in it now.
That's not too surprising.
I'd like Minecraft is number 8. It's like, no, it's not. Minecraft should not be there. Like, I'm talking
Yeah.
about Retail 1000. So if we ignore Dead by Daylight as number 3, number 4 is XO1.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is Below.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Not many people played Below. Sorry, Below.
And number 1 is NBA Live 15. NBA Live 15
Sure.
is not going to get beaten at this point because the best games on that site is based on how rare the achievements are to be collected. So
Yeah.
Below is up there because people started it and then never got, like, either they beat it and stopped and they didn't go for the full gamer score.
They got the
or
lantern, and then they're like, "What am I actually? I'm not playing this anymore."
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's based on rarity of achievements. So NBA Live is never going to get beaten because
No.
that game is shut down at this point. Like, it doesn't exist. So that
Right.
is relatively set in stone. Below and XO1 are on there because they were on Game Pass and they are very particular kind of games.
Mm-hmm.
So people probably started them, played them, didn't like them. Number 5 is SSX, by the way, the reboot.
Oh, weird. Okay. I had a feeling nobody played that, but that kind of seals the deal.
It's because it has 2 or 3 achievements which are based on like beating online like competitions and things like that.
Oh, right. I forgot about those.
SSX sold like hotcakes, but those achievements nobody went for, so that's why it ends up being up on that list. But no, Anthem is great. Like, I love that game still, and it's fun. It's beautiful. It's fun. It's crazy fun to play. The lore building is incredible. It's just, you know, maybe don't try and build a MOBA. I mean, a live service game. I mean, take your pick of the current a roguelike.
Right.
Take your pick. Like,
It just never got the love it needed. That's the real
No, it
the
didn't.
real thing about it.
yeah, and then they promptly used the pandemic to say, like, yeah, we're not even doing this anymore. We had 4 people in a closet working on the rebuild.
Yeah, the
Well-
pandemic was a good excuse for them because everyone had already known when EA kept coming out and saying, "Oh yeah, no, we're still going to support it."
Oh,
and everyone's
Anthem,
like,
yeah,
"Why?"
that's- Yeah.
It's like you're not doing anything about it right now. The pandemic hits, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're not doing it." Everyone's like, "Yeah, of course."
Well, and
Yeah,
they
it
they
was-
teased that potential Anthem 2.0, and it was like, yeah, man, you should do that. And they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, because it was 4 people in a closet. Of
Right.
course they're going to do it slowly. Like, it makes sense. They've got BioWare to they've got Dragon Age to make and Mass Effect to make.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Two
yeah.
games that they absolutely cannot mess up. Like that, it's the last chance for both of those franchises. Dragon Age Inquisition was great, but you can't end Inquisition the way you did and mess up the next game. Like there's
I'm gonna
no
say
way.
I don't feel strongly about either one of those games right now with how they've been acting.
I mean, I think
Particularly about them.
I'll play them.
I think they've been doing
Yeah,
a smart
if they
thing
ever
about
come
just
out.
like shutting up about them. Like they
are,
have
but remember when they came out with all that concept art and be
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, we're working on this," and they went
the
all
dev
gun ho
stuff.
about it, and everyone was like, "Shut up!"
Yeah, and I'm glad that they did, because like
Yeah.
before they would have just been like, "Oh, here's an EA play, and we got a mission from the intro," and everyone's like, "I don't shut up, just put it out."
So let's just be honest. The reason why they did that whole dev thing when it's like this is Mass Effect and this is Dragon Age stuff is because they were at E3 and they had nothing.
And it was like a proof
So
of life,
that's-
really.
So that's literally the only reason why they did it. But we'll see how it goes. I still have some like crumb of hope, some tiny little
Me too.
morsel of hope, an M&M of hope in my soul that maybe Dragon Age and Mass Effect will turn out good for the future, but
It just doesn't turn well that Mass Effect, Dragon Age, and Anthem were all unceremoniously just dropped.
Yeah,
but this is also the same people who literally sacrificed Battlefield to try and put it out early, full of bugs, to try and compete with Call of Duty.
yeah. They still aren't getting it.
No. How is 2024 still alive? I would like to know. Like, that thing is a
man.
ramshackle mess of a game.
Yeah.
Apparently,
okay.
though, it's just broken enough to be stupid fun, though.
There you go.
Mhm.
So
They, within the past 2 months, they added classes into that game.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Like, that's...
But I'm still seeing people launching random stuff in the air to take out fighter jets. So
Yeah.
I mean,
You got the classic
they're finding their funds.
stuff. Right.
Okay, that's actually a very good transition. So I'll talk about some of these other stuff in a little bit. There is a channel I have subscribed to on YouTube, which is like, best moments of gamers. So it's basically people take clips, send them to them, he puts them in a compilation, and then it's just like a bunch of funny and hilarious stuff that happens in video games. Battlefield is a prime example of that, where it's like, this is a dude who ejected out of a jet plane, shot down 2 other jet planes with a rocket launcher, and then landed back in his jet plane before crashing. Like,
In a
that kind of
tornado.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of them that they had up recently was there's a bug in Dead Space where it turns the game into a fixed camera perspective,
Oh, interesting.
but it's not like up high, it's just like eye level randomly in the room.
Okay.
That's what you need.
Yeah, so somebody had that bug and then redid the Pixar opening with Isaac going stomp, 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 stomp. 10 light beam from the gun, stomp, stomp.
That's great.
And he swears as he's doing it. I cracked up so much. Like, every time I saw it, it's just like, I'm rewinding this. I have to see this again because it's so good.
Since you brought up Dead Space real quick, my son
That's
wanted
what I'm
me
switching to.
I was say my son wanted me to ask you a question.
Uh-huh.
Did you buy any of the DLC for Dead Space?
This one or the original one?
This one.
No.
Okay. He tells me that there is a really cool suit that from what he tried to describe, it sounds like it turns you into a necromorph. And any scene where he takes his helmet off, he just removes his head.
I didn't even know there was DLC for this one. That's interesting.
I didn't either, so I don't know if it's something coming out or if it already is out, but how my son knows about that for this game.
I have a lot of questions.
I question him about it a little bit.
That's right.
Like, all right, it's okay. Just don't go too deep into that rabbit hole, man. That is not for you.
That's where you stop.
It sounds like this might be digital deluxe crap.
Yeah, he said something about it being digital, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I forgot they had
so
that.
EA have that thing where they have 17 different versions, and I think one of them is potentially that. But no, I didn't do any of that stuff. So
I guess look up a video on it because it apparently sounds pretty cool.
Let's see if I can find one
It
for the
sounds
stream here.
pretty gross. Like, come on.
But within the realm of Dead Space, though, I mean, that was what I was expecting. So,
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, if you can make him look like a Dalahome as he's walking through the hallways, that would be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is true. I did get the Untouchable achievement. I got that last night, as a matter of fact.
Nice.
Which is completing the game on impossible difficulty, which is the one where if you die, it deletes your save file. They almost got me with the nuke. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I remembered something with the nuke, but I couldn't remember what. That's the thing that kills you if you shoot it. So, avoiding that at all costs.
When was that? Was that towards the end of the game?
Yes, it's when the Vala approaches, which is a different ship.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I did all that, and I beat the game, got the Untouchable achievement. I didn't have the secret ending, because apparently the secret ending you can only get through New Game Plus. Good to know. I guess I'll be doing that this time.
Okay.
Which is fine, because as part of beating Untouchable, I got the Burnished Rig, which is Isaac's exact same rig, except instead of being like brown gold thing, it's got like the bronze. It's polished.
Oh, is
titanium.
that that one? Is that one that made you look like a what was it? A brother from BioShock? Or
no? It's just
what were those things called?
It's Big Daddy.
Big Daddy.
Oh,
thank
Big
you.
Daddy. It's his basic rig, except instead of being bronze, it's titanium, so it's silver, and it's like polished silver, which is really cool with
That's
the lighting
cool.
effects. But it makes his visor red. His light visor on his eyes are red, which I'm 100% not down with. Give me the green noggin every day of the week, please. But I did. Part of that was I also got the the suit level 6 upgrade, which is the EDF suit.
Okay.
Does it look super anime?
No, it's the suit that the people on the Vala have, which is the skull-looking mask, because they're all the soldiers. Yes.
Okay.
So it's got like super like armored ribs all up and down the sides. It looks really, really cool. Creepy and weird though, because it's black and white instead of the bronze.
Oh. Okay.
So it's unusual. However, I did get the hand cannon.
Yeah. Let's go.
AKA cakewalk mode activated.
Yeah.
Because not only have I beaten it on the highest difficulty, I have the best weapon in the game, and now I can play it on whatever difficulty I want, and literally one-shot fools.
That's right. Walking right through it.
Go through and get your achievements.
That's right.
So right now I'm walking around with the hand cannon and the pulse rifle, because there is an achievement for killing people with 30 people with every gun in the game.
Oh. Okay.
So I'm going to do hand cannon and pulse rifle. Then hand cannon and ripper, and then hand cannon and blank, and hand cannon and whatever else I need until I'm done. I'm part of New Game Plus. I'm also going to go for the secret achievement, which there is marker shards in the game in New Game Plus.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Which I think is the key to the secret ending, because they suddenly just showed up, and I was like, this wasn't here in the first time, so okay, I guess I'm doing this.
Right.
Now I'm going to be able to have time to do all the side quests and stuff and revisit previous areas, because the hand cannon has infinite ammo.
Yeah.
So it's a one-shot, one kill, and it has infinite ammo. I am done with this. So don't be surprised, depending on how much time I manage to find, if within the next 2 weeks you see me posting the screenshot of the thousand gamer score of this game too.
Right.
To go with, Anthem,
the original,
and my next game, Rumbleverse.
Nice. So you got it.
I got my Vicious Beats block achievement. I'm still sad. It's 9 days left on that game as of time of recording.
Sorry,
Rumbleverse is great.
Yeah.
It's a fun game. It's good to play. I think we talked about it previously. Like, niche within a niche within a niche is a problem for live service stuff.
Yep.
I like playing that game a lot. And yes, I did have my little moment of squee fame because as soon as I posted that, when I post that kind of stuff, I occasionally mention the developers. So I put at Dave Lang at Iron Galaxy. Thank you very much, gents. Like, this was really, really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And Dave Lang responded and gave me a little heart.
Nice.
So,
Aww.
He's all right. That
thank
Dave
you, Dave
Lang.
Lang. He is.
Yeah.
Also, I like the fact that he flat out calls out in his. He was talking about the shutdown for the game, and he was like, "Look, I don't call Iron Galaxy a family because that's not how businesses should be ran.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing the support that this studio has for each other and the fans have got for the studio with this shutdown news has been like kind of cool for him.
Oh, nice.
And it's like that's the kind of stuff a family does do, but the fact that you're still not calling it a family is number one, good on you,
Yeah.
and number two, thank you. Like
Yeah.
it's. I still think I would love to see this as like an open world beat 'em up Hulk Ultimate Destruction kind of game.
Yeah,
where it's
totally.
Like, granted, you're adding in a whole bunch of like AI stuff for CPUs and things like that. So, fingers crossed, Graphical City finds its place in the future.
Yeah.
I am keeping this game installed until shutdown day, just in case anybody does want to play it. Again, if you do, hit me up. If you see me online, I will happily play it. Rumbleverse was so much fun.
Yeah.
Had a great time playing it. Sucks that it's going to go away. My final game is Marvel Snap. I'm not even going to talk about that because Rumbleverse takes everything away.
Yeah.
So yes, Nimp, take us away from the sadness, please.
All right. Well, in good news, Vampire Survivors got an update. Yay!
Oh, okay.
No.
Meant to talk about this last week and completely forgot. I don't know what was going on, but my brain was scattershot last week for some reason. The new update adds 3 new checklist items, three more achievements,
Okay.
and one of them also involves a character evolving once it reaches level 80.
Interesting.
And it is really cool.
Okay.
And they provide you with a new map that is, I think it's called Batcave, but it's basically Oops All Bats.
Okay.
So it was fun. I still love jumping back into that game. But
Yeah.
that was it. This wasn't a major update. This was just, a couple fixes here and there, and hey, here's a couple more things for you to do since I'm uploading an update. So
Right.
that was nice and fun. My next game. Played a lot with my kids this week. The first game I played with my kids was Monster Hunter Rise.
Mm.
Yeah.
I have officially changed over to the Charge Sword.
Yeah.
Nice.
That is slowly coming back to me.
Slowly being the key word.
Yeah. So it starts out. It's a sword and shield, and there is a sword and shield weapon type. This one's different from that one. This one, it does the cool thing where you sheath your sword into the top of the shield. I don't know why, but that's an aesthetic that I've always enjoyed.
That's just cool, man.
Yeah, but the thing that's different with this is when you are blocking, you can switch modes. I will forever call it tricking because of Bloodborne.
Right.
You can trick your weapon so the shield will start to rotate around your sword. The shield will expand and it shoots out to the end of your sword, and now you have a massive axe.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And the entire time, in fact, you can see it on the video that you're playing now because you pulled that up. You've got these new little like potion bottles underneath your stamina bar. Those fill up as you use it, and you can discharge those and get different effects and different types of damage going, it seems like.
Okay.
Like I said, the last time I did anything major with this was back when we were all playing World, so it's been a little bit. So it has taken me some time to get used to doing this because I was using the twin blades, which is way faster. This one I am moving so stupid slow that I've had to, like, my son will play decoy so that way I can move away to either take a potion or sharpen it. because I can barely move with that stupid thing, and sometimes I even have to like sheath it to be able to move. But it does have another attack that the twins did not have, where I can fire off one of my line bugs at an enemy, and I basically zip line towards the enemy, and once I get to the end of that, I do like this massive downward attack.
Ooh.
So the problem is getting that timed appropriately so that I am not, one, ziplining past the thing that I am trying to hit,
Right.
and two, the thing is still there when I get to the end of the zip line.
Right.
Yep. I have similar issues with my build on that because I'm the switch axe, which starts as an axe and turns into a sword, so it's kind of the weird inverse. But they're both huge, chunky weapons, so I 100% roll like. It's the Dark Souls fat roll thing, where it's like, yeah, this is how I have to attack. All of the weapons have 2 zipline attacks, by the way, and one on the Y, one on the X, I think it is. So one is usually a vertical one, one is a horizontal one. And then when you rank up, they give you options to choose from, so you can change those out.
I did just hit Hunter rank 2, so now I have the ability to... all of my weapons now have a second ability that I can switch out with that now. I still have to get used to... the Twin Blades had what is called a Demon Mode, which basically makes you go a lot faster, and you can do like this quick, 8-hit combo or whatever with them. And you have to hit... left trigger, right trigger to activate that. I am still doing that with this, and that does nothing for this particular weapon. So I'm trying to rewrap my brain to be like, okay, this is what I need to do.
Yeah, is it the right trigger unsheathed, or use the right trigger in a combo to do the switch by any chance?
So right trigger to pull up the shield, which puts me into a blocking stance, so I take either no or less damage, and then then it's Y or B to switch to trick it, and then while it's tricked out, I can hold or use B to start using the charges, and I think Y also does something with that too, but like I said, I'm still trying to remember how this works, and I've been noticing that my little potion canisters below my stamina bar changes to different colors, so now I'm trying to figure out, okay, what does white do compared to red? What does yellow do compared to white? That kind of stuff. So, because I think yellow, depending on the size of the thing that we are attacking, like straight up stuns them. And I think if it's
probably
bigger,
a paralysis potion.
Yeah, and if it's bigger, I think it's like a percentage, and then it just kind of adds up until it gets. Yeah. So it's a whole thing that I'm trying to I don't want to read the tutorials because that just sometimes takes the fun out of it. I'm doing fine. It's just I probably could be doing a lot better if I stopped being stubborn and just read the thing that the game keeps yelling at me to read.
Like, in all honesty, if you look in Hunter's notes on the pause menu, on the start menu, it will have like 3 basic combos. It doesn't even tell you everything. It's like 3 basic combos for the weapon. That's how I learned with the switch axe. Like, now, because I read that, I can flow in a combo, like axe mode to sword mode, back to axe mode, back to sword mode, do this other type of combo, and then as long as I hit the right button in that, then it increases my elemental build up like 50% as soon as I've done this one combo. So then I do that combo, transition it into the sword, and then use that to build up the element, and then use that to launch the element, and then switch back to the axe so I can continue using the element. Like, it's this really interesting like water flow of combat for the switch axe, which I know every weapon in it is so different, and the way you play is so insanely different. Like, it's cool to like sit, like, I like bouncing, so I like doing a bunch of different weapons, but just sitting down and focusing on just the switch axe for now, it's like, okay, this is cool, I understand what I'm doing, this is what I'm going to focus on for now. Maybe when I'm killing elder dragons, I can maybe switch it out at that point, but right now it's like I'm not going to get the materials to build 2 full weapon sets to the 17 different like trees that they have for evolution.
Yeah, because right now I've got a pattern down where I can attack with just the sword, and then trick it so that it does it switches into the axe mid attack, and then they do a somersault, which basically doubles the axe damage, and then tricks back into a sword, and then I do like a shield bash or something like that. So I mean, there's crazy combos that I'm pulling off. I'm just not 100% there on what exactly I was hitting at the time. So, which is kind of part of the fun too, where it's like you do something, you're like, huh, I didn't know it would do. Like I just found out if I hold down B while in midair, I just float in the air because you shoot up one of those line beetles and you just float there for, like indefinitely until you tell it that you want to jump off of it.
Yep,
So-
I did not know that for the longest time either. Like the good thing for me at least is like I don't know if this is what it's like with you playing with your son, but with me when I play, I tend to play with Rob, so I'm very much like that meme where it's got like the dude asking somebody else how he's feeling, and it's got the huge knight behind him like
Right.
blocking the arrows.
All the arrows. Yeah.
Rob is that knight for me where he's just like, yeah, you experiment and have fun. I'm just gonna protect you from all of this madness.
Yeah, no, we do our own because my son plays out in the living room and I play in the back of the house in my office. So the only time we communicate is when we're yelling to each other on what's going on, which annoys my wife to no end.
You wonder why.
So, but yeah, I mean, we pretty much just do our own thing, and then we'll yell back and forth if we need help or whatever. But for the most part, we're pretty in sync with what's happening, which is basically we hit big thing, we back away, and we can both tell when the other person needs a moment from being attacked. So we'll tag in and out too, because for a while there, we would always try to be on opposite ends of whatever we were attacking. That way it made it so that it was more likely to only focus on one of us instead of hitting both of us. But with some of the bigger things that you're fighting, that gets harder and harder to do, where it's like all of a sudden you're both just on the left side of the monster and there's nothing that you can do about it, and it's doing like a tail swipe or something, and we're just both getting juggled around. There was one thing that we were fighting that I was just getting juggled all the way across the map and couldn't do a GD thing about it. It was so annoying. But yeah, other than that though, it's Monster Hunter. It's still fun. I feel like the online version of everything feels a little harder than the solo version of it, I guess. Even when you're playing the online stuff solo, it doesn't feel like it's changing any of the stats of the monsters. It feels like, okay, this is the online version of that monster. These are the stats it has. The solo story version of that monster is a lot weaker and a lot easier to take on by yourself. But
Honestly, I've noticed that because I have gone solo in both, and in the village missions, which is the single player missions, I have destroyed some monsters real quick. And in the online missions, it's like, oh, this is taking me like 42 minutes out of my 50. Whereas, like, on the village version, it's like, this was a 7-minute run. What is going on?
Yeah,
and it's like,
didn't die once, had no issues, and yeah.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, Monster Hunter, it's a great game. Next game, Hot Wheels Unleashed.
Oh yeah.
Just hit Game Pass. I already have it downloaded.
Yes. This is the Game of the Year edition. Both versions are on there, the Xbox One version and the Xbox Series, both X and S versions. So pay attention to which one you're downloading based on the series, because the One versions you can only see the one. But anyway, this is simplistic as it can be for a racing game and extremely fun.
Mm-hmm. I had a blast playing this.
Yes, you don't even see how fast you're going. You just feel how fast you're going.
Mm-hmm.
The cars themselves have individual stats which you can upgrade by getting gears and stuff, but I've just been having fun just racing. It got to the point where both my kids were just sitting on the floor next to me while I was playing it, and we were just messing around, checking things out. My son has been playing it out in the living room, and he was telling me that you get a basement level that you can customize, which is just like your own personal basement, which is stupid because that thing is like the size of my floor, like my main floor
it's
of
monstrously
my house.
huge.
Yeah, that is not a basement. That is a living space for people.
Yep.
Especially since it has like a massive kitchen in it.
Yep.
But
the clip that Boston's got on the stream here, this is giving me flashbacks to Trackmania, except with probably less EDM would be my guess.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so quick.
It's very quick and very smooth. Yeah.
I started out with the Monte Carlo which was fine. But because it's the Game of the Year edition, I have like all the DLC stuff, and we were looking through seeing, okay, what's the fastest vehicle they have? And the fastest one is a Superman vehicle, which looks cool, but it had like I think it had like no braking whatsoever, or it had like 1 pip to braking or something. So I'm like, eh. But then there's what they call the Joker GT, which looked really cool, and so I upgraded it, and now I've got the boost is a little different. You can, depending on its rarity, you either have a bar of boost that you can activate. It activates by you holding down the boost button, and it deactivates when you let go, or you get like these little nodes. And when you activate it, it burns through an entire node before it stops. So if you have 3 nodes, you use a node, and then
This is the burnout thing, where different types of boosts and things like that.
Yes. Yep. And as you upgrade them, it can change it, because you're upgrading the stats of the vehicle, which then changes the rarity version of it, which that doesn't really come into play for anything, but it changes like the handling and the acceleration and the top speed and all that stuff, and it has the ability to change what version of the boost that you have, as well as how much of that boost you have. So
interesting.
The Joker vehicle, the Joker GT, by itself was pretty fast. I've upgraded that thing 1 time, and I am blowing through races with this thing. Yes, in the back.
Question: Is it teacher? Is it Joker Hot Wheels, or is it Joker DC?
Joker Hot Wheels based off of DC.
So it's like purple and green colored.
Yeah, like it's his face, straight up, and it looks super awesome.
Great.
Yeah.
Which is why I picked it. And that's the other thing. They have everything for Hot Wheels, because who knows, Hot Wheels has at one point the license of like almost every franchise ever that's been out there. There's Looney Tunes cars in here. I actually wrote it down. What do we have here? Looney Tunes so far. There's a Jetsons car. There's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cars. There's DC cars. There is a Barbie RV camper in here, which my son absolutely loves and is upgraded, and he uses that for just about every race that he can get away with it on. It is the dumbest thing where you are racing and all of a sudden this bright pink camper comes out of nowhere and just blows past everybody.
Great.
Is Gravedigger in it yet?
They do have a bunch of monster trucks, but I don't know if that one by name specifically.
Yeah, I don't remember. They have like a lot of the. I didn't play any of the DLC when I played this, but they had a lot of the kind of classic Hot Wheels cars in the base version. So I bet he's in there.
Oh, yeah, the hot rod with the skull on the front. That's a classic.
Yep, they've got that in there. Yep.
Yeah, they have a lot of the ones you'd expect. Yeah.
But yeah, they've got with the basement that you can customize, though, when you play levels that are in your basement, anything that you have changed and customized, you see in the background. When
you're playing your level, just like the track is weaving in and out of your basement.
And that's outside of the track maker that they have in here as well that you can create, which you get parts for it by completing races. So you can have like the nitrous boss thing in your track when you beat that.
Yeah.
It's got its standard, win first place at a poll, beat time, everyone goes down, like the rally version, where it's like everyone goes down one at a time and best time wins kind of thing, or beat this time kind of thing. But then they also have boss matches. I have only played one so far, so I don't know if they're all like this, but this one was a super long racetrack that took me everywhere, up on the ceiling, through vents, down on the ground, in between washers.
Oh, wow.
And it did all kinds of weird stuff where there's like a spider that's randomly, I don't remember if it was this one or a different one, but there's like a spider that's shooting like webs on the track, and if you hit the web, you get stuck, and then you have to like kind of boost out of it. Randomly, it had like this flipper on one side of the track, so you had to figure out, okay, is the flipper is currently blocking off the left turn for this track, so I have to go right, but I have to make sure I hit it right, or else that flipper is going to come out and knock me off, and then I'll have to go left. There's, up around the wall. There's another one where you basically jump, and then gravity starts to flip, and then you just stick to the top upside down on the track. which all 3 times screwed me up because I was constantly facing the wrong way when it flipped me. And I couldn't. You can adjust how your car is mid-flight, but I hadn't figured out how to fix the pitch or adjust the pitch yet. So I could never get that right. So I always crashed on my roof, and the game would adjust it for me, and then I'd have to turn around and go. But it's just really stupid fun.
Yeah, it's just like a cool, simple, fun thing.
Yeah, my kids enjoyed watching me play it. We told my daughter that my son was playing it, so it's on the Xbox out there, and I think she went out and checked it out when I was done playing it. So, yeah, if you're just looking for a fun, dumb game to play, a racing game, that's it. Go for it.
Yeah.
There's what do they call it? Hot Wheels Unleashed, which is on Game Pass, but it's on pretty much everything last I had seen. So, yeah. Next game, this one's going to be short. After we got done playing, or them watching and me playing Hot Wheels, we went and played Smash Brothers because my daughter wanted to play that. So it was me,
the perennial
my son,
go-to,
and my daughter. Yeah.
Wait, what Smash Brothers is this? I never keep them straight.
Is it Ultimate? Whatever the Switch version is. Smash
Brothers Ultimate?
Switch. Let's see. It is. Yeah, it's Ultimate.
Okay.
No, it's not. It's Brawl. Brawl is the right one.
Melee? Which one is this?
So, yeah. So we are still playing random map, random characters, which my son has a bit of an issue with, only because when you play random characters, it does not include the Mii fighters. It only includes the standard characters.
Oh, okay.
Which the Mii fighters are just clones of the standard characters, so get over it.
Yeah.
So we played, I think we played like 4 or 5 matches of that. And my son beat us all handily because he plays it all the time, and he's actually in like this little esports thing in his school that they play after school. So it's like, all right, whatever. I did manage to take them both out one time. Forgot who I was playing as. Oh, I was playing as oh crap, not Ness. Who's the other? Victor? Lucas,
I think.
Okay. I was playing as Lucas, I hate all the Earthbound kids in Smash Brothers, specifically because their recovery, as my son tells me, not their third jump, is the lightning bolt.
Get it right, Dad.
That you have to curve the lightning bolt around and hit underneath your character and launch them forward. And I completely forgot that when I was off the map and promptly died. But anyway, so I was making fun of them because I was just spamming PK Thunder. And my son was playing as Steve from Minecraft, and I don't remember what my daughter had at that time. But anyway, so I was making fun about how my daughter, I think it was Jigglypuff or something like that, she kept getting in front of me every time I would do PK Thunder. Like, every time I would try to attack our son, she would just magically show up in front of me. And she'd be like, stop hitting me. And I'm like, you need to stop jumping in front of me. Literally every time I have done this attack, you have just shown up right in front of me and get hit by it.
This sounds like a Scrub Quotes thing, if I ever had one.
That's right.
I mean, get good. But anyway... There was one of the matches that I actually won and knocked out both the kids in one shot. And then the final one, I managed to knock out my daughter. And then my son, right afterwards, he was trying to do some attack. I don't know what, as Steve. And he completely biffed it and just dive bombed off the map right after he had spawned back. Yeah. And so I was making fun of him, saying, "Oh, so now that your sister's not here, you saw what's up and just KO'd yourself." And he's like, "No, that's not what happened." It's like, watch the replay.
That's right.
So
I got the receipts.
We pull up the replay on this thing. We then find out there is no fast forwarding or rewinding for these stupid replays, so we had to watch the entire match all over again for me to prove my stupid joke point. And believe me, I made them watch.
That's right.
So that's still fun. I didn't know with the random stages. I didn't know they added like a what they call the random Omega maps. It's just the flat ones. It doesn't have any of the extra height or verticality or anything like that. It's just the flat ones.
Right.
I don't know why they called it Omega. I asked my son that. He doesn't know why either. But it's there because my daughter was having issues with some of the scalability with some of the maps, so we were just trying to keep it simple. But all in all, it was a lot of fun. I am so far out of Smash that I can't hold my own anymore, so whatever.
It's a young man's game.
Yeah. My next game, Anno, Mutationem.
Yeah.
I have completed this game.
Oh.
It takes a nice story pivot halfway through, and I will leave it at that for the story. But it is really awesome, and I loved where it went, and I hope they make another one, and I hope they continue with that story pivot, because I really want more of that. Anything to do with SCP, I want more of. Control, right. I'm waiting for Control 2 to come out. I want another Alan Wake, even though that's only kind of loosely, tied to everything. But so yeah, I really liked it. I don't really have. Yeah, I don't really have a.
You don't really want to spoil anything.
Yeah, because I mean, the game starts out where you are looking for your brother, who isn't missing, but you're always just kind of missing him as you are searching for him. So you're constantly following this trail, and then, like I said, massive pivot, and things go down. I'm like, this is really great. Right. And then I fought a boss, which was really great. And then the game was over. And I'm like, I might buy the DLC for this, which only includes like extra clothes and some extra weapons just to support this. Because I really liked it. So yes, that's cool. Anno. I think I beat that within like 10 hours, 10 or 12 hours.
Oh, it's not bad.
So yeah, it's not a super long game either. But my next and last game, speaking of not super long, because Mood has been talking it up with Dead Space, and I don't want to buy another $70 game right now. I was going to play Resident Evil Village. Don't write that down. That's not what I played.
Okay. I'm waiting.
Because I was all hyped and ready to play Village, and then all of a sudden a little thought came into my mind saying, you never actually beat 7.
Okay.
So I downloaded 7 and confirmed I was only 3 hours into 7.
Oh, okay.
So I played Resident Evil 7. I beat the game within 8 hours and 23 minutes.
Nice.
So again, not a very long game. I was actually
not.
So Resident Evil games in general don't tend to be very long because you can always come back and speed run them where you're doing like sub 2 hours. Yeah.
They do the replayability thing so well. Still one of the best things to take advantage of achievements, where it's like, yeah, you have these achievements, enjoy these 9 extra guns, a whole bunch of credits. Hey, now you can have this character and this outfit and this costume. Yep. Like, it's one of the best series for that stuff.
Yeah, because 1, 2, and 3, I played. That was back when I was in high school.
You
like
played
towards
them
the end of high school.
20 times each.
Yeah. And then 4 was really great because you had the ability to upgrade individual weapons and then get the infinite ammo. So, I mean, that really hit that arcadey kind of thing of, I beat the game, but I mean, like, I can get this infinite rocket launcher if I just play it one more time, and oops. Yeah.
Right. Hey, have you even beat the game if your Magnum doesn't fire constantly forever?
That's right.
Exactly. So, when I booted up my game, I had to watch a couple videos to remember, 1, where I was at, and 2, what I was doing. Because I was left in a trailer in the backyard of the main house, which I would say is probably pretty close to the midpoint of the game. I then had to go. I'm going to spoil the heck out of this game, too. So, If you guys don't want to know about spoilers, I'll give you a couple seconds since I just said that now.
Stop listening, Boston. We've got a patron goal for you.
I like that you think that I will remember any of this after we finish this episode.
I know better.
Yeah. So, once I figured out where I was at, I found out that I was supposed to be fighting Margaret. Or, dealing with Margaret. At this point, I was still in the, I'm going to call it the swamp house, where she is following me, and I'm supposed to be hiding from her. But I'm supposed to be getting bits and bobs throughout, this area so that I can get past her and continue on. I finally do that. I finally find a key that I needed to get into a crow door, which has a crow nailed to the door because this game is all about visuals. Hence the guy with his hands literally stapled back to his arm, and you see it every time you pause the game or go into the menu. It's not great. So She ends up shoving you down the stairs. You fall into a hole, and then I just kind of sprayed her with a flamethrower that I put together for this area. Knocked her out. She turns into a pile of goo.
Great.
Okay. I get through that crow door and find out, oh, hey, there's like this justice scale looking thing here that has a lantern on it.
Oh, Resident Evil.
Yeah, Margaret had a lantern. So let me go back to her corpse and get the lantern. I look down the hole where I killed her. Her lantern is there. The pile of goo is gone. And all of a sudden, this super long arm reaches out from the side and grabs the lantern and pulls it back. I'm like,
Resident Evil.
Great. So, against all common sense, I jumped into the hole and followed the now spider form of Margaret down this tunnel.
My.
Climb back up. I'm like, okay, I now can get back to the trailer that my save point and all my gear is at, or I can go up these stairs into this house and presumably have a boss fight. So I go back to the trailer, refill, go back over, and yes, a boss fight ensues where I'm in like this 2-layered house, and she, when you first walk in, you hear her, but you don't see her, and then she jumps through a wall and grabs you and tries to pull you through a window. At which point, I lit her up, literally, with a flamethrower. She let go. I go walking to the second story, still trying to find her, and she reaches through the ceiling and grabs me, which I then light her up again, and then the boss fight actually happens, which just involved me keeping the fire on her until she finally dies. Now I have her lantern.
Hooray? Question mark?
Yeah. So I go back to the stairwell, to the crow door, fell down the hole one time by accident, climbed up the ladder, finished going up the stairwell, put the lantern in, and now I'm in a dark room. And I turn on my flashlight, and I'm walking. And there is a ball that magically floats by. There's noises that are happening, and there's like all kinds of weird crap. You get into this room that has a bed and has a dollhouse. You open that up. You find this arm thing that you're looking for. You turn around. There's a person standing there. Yay! And they disappear. And then you open the door and you get your jump scare. And then you blow up a bunch of stuff and you go running back. And then you find Lucas, who calls to tell you that Zoe, who I forgot about, he has her and Maya. And the one other thing that you need to make the serum thing that I had also forgotten about. So now you need to go deal with him, which involves a whole bunch of weird mess. It basically ends up with you doing this barn fight with a fat, moldy thing that blows up and spews stuff at you.
Yikes.
You get through that. You do this birthday prank thing, which if you watched the video, you know how to do that. You mess him up so that way you don't die, and then you find Maya and Zoe tied to like some pipes in this house. That's when the next boss fight happens with... I wrote his name down. What is his name? Jack? I think it's Jack. Yes, Jack. The father. The guy who has been hunting you this entire time in the first house. So now you have this weird goo thing with all these eyes, and I found out you have to blow up all the eyes to beat them. Which that took forever. Beat him. Now I'm at the point where it's like, okay, Zoe makes a serum. You have to use one of the serum things on Jack to beat him. Now you only have one. You have to choose between Maya and Zoe on who you're taking with you. I chose Maya because that's who I was here for. Apparently you get a different ending if you choose Zoe or something. I don't know. Either way, you both get on a boat. You're on your way. It's like this little dinghy that you have. And the next thing you know, you find a real boat that's shipwrecked. And your characters get attacked, and then you switch perspective. Now, you're playing as Maya, who doesn't have any of the weapons that you have been hoarding this entire time, or the ammunition, or the items. So now you have to go through this freaky ship with this little girl whispering into your head, and these little weird mold things chasing you, and you have no way to defend yourself for quite a long while.
Good times.
Yes. Eventually you do find weapons, and it turns back into a regular Resident Evil thing, where it's like, oh, mold thing, pop, 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 done, keep going. After you get to the end of this ship, you find... Basically, what was it? With the character's perspective, Ethan gets taken away. That's why you're playing as Maya. At the end of the ship thing, you find Ethan, And Maya basically breaks him free, pushes him through a bulkhead, and says, "You need to go. Here's a MacGuffin thingy. You need to go. I am losing. I can't." She is. You find out this little girl's name's Eva. She is taking control of me again. I cannot control myself anymore, and then you're just off. So you're playing as Ethan, who, again, doesn't have any of his items because he was captured, and he continues on into a salt mine. Why? I don't know. Resident Evil. So, helicopters fly by. You're like, okay, cool. Help is finally here. Not for you, though. So you keep going, you hear the radio, and if you've played Resident Evil long enough, you recognize that one of the voices is Chris. And none of them are titled, so you don't know it for sure, but that sounds like the voice actor for Chris from, I think, 5 is what... I don't know if they kept the same voice actor through all the years, but anyway, I'm pretty sure it's the voice actor from 5, or at least a very good facsimile of him, because I recognized him right off the bat. You get all your items back, you make it into the salt mine, you do like this stupid little wave thing where you have to blow past all these things to finally make it to the very first house at the start of the game. And then you find Eve at the attic of that thing, and then it turns into a hellish boss fight of you stab her with the serum, she turns into the old lady who was in the wheelchair that has been scaring the heck out of you randomly. The lady doesn't attack you at all, it's just she randomly shows up in like the weirdest, scariest places that you were not expecting somebody to be at. So this entire time you find out that that was Eve this entire time, and then she transforms into this face that has like these tentacles, and she takes up the whole hallway, and your boss fight begins with you just unloading into her face. And then she gets mad, throws you out of the house, grows bigger than the house, you continue shooting her in the face. She gets mad, throws you around, and all of a sudden somebody from a helicopter, Chris, throws you a gun and says, use this on her. 5 rounds later, you've beaten the boss. And then Chris, I think they called it the good ending 1 or whatever. So for me...
So literal.
Yeah. For me, Chris comes down in a helicopter, says, hey, we've been looking for you. We've been looking for everybody else and all this crap. Come to find out that all of the bakers got mind controlled because Eva broke free on this ship that everybody else was on. It crashes in the bayou in Louisiana right next to the bakers. Jack finds her, brings her to the house to help her recuperate, and that's when she takes over everybody's minds. So that's why they're all psychotic. And yeah, it's a weird but cool story. The story surprisingly just came together at the end, because at first it's just like, okay, this is just a bunch of crazy people in Resident Evil, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, they actually tie it up real nicely at the end, all the way into the point that you see the helicopter and it says Umbrella on the side of it. And instead of the red Umbrella logo, it's a blue Umbrella logo, which had me scratching my head thinking, wait a minute. At this point in the Resident Evil timeline, Umbrella should not exist anymore. Also, wasn't Chris part of the BSAA or whatever the heck it was in 5, which took place before this, which I know had the whole Trisol thing, which was technically Umbrella, but whatever. So I'm like, what the hell is this blue Umbrella thing? And boy, did I fall down a wiki hole. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm still not 100% sure. Apparently in the fandom it's known as Blue Umbrella, and even then I'm not 100% sure on that. But apparently this is supposed to be the anti-Umbrella like task force thing, and that's why Chris is leading it right now. And I believe this is what carries on to 8. Because
8 is a direct continuation of this.
Yeah, as I say, from my understanding from this point, Ethan gets taken on by Chris and is trained by Chris, and then things happen. I haven't gotten to that point because I haven't played 8 yet. So
yes,
I have that on deck now to play. The other cool thing about Maya is that you find out that she was apparently, for me, because I haven't fully looked into what the actual story events are, she seems like she was an Umbrella agent. And that's the whole reason why she was with Eve that entire time, but she was transporting her to a Central American laboratory from, I think, Africa, whatever. It's Resident Evil, whatever.
Think so? I don't know.
Yeah, either way, they were going to Central America. I know that much. And she was one of the agents that was with Eve. So she turns out to be a badass agent because you find out on the ship as you play as her, and she starts to get weapons. It's like, okay, Maya's actually pretty good and knows what she's doing. Way better than Ethan. So yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Kind of creepy. I do not like the gore. I am not enjoying the gore. I know that within like the first 5 minutes, Ethan gets his hand chomped on again because that guy cannot hang on to his digits to save his life.
He's got a real hand problem.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I am really looking forward to playing it again. And I did get the unlock of what is it, the Albert 01 gun, which is supposed to be a more powerful handgun that you start out with as soon as you get to one of your item containers.
Jeez.
So I'm like,
it's Albert's pistol.
Yeah, so I'm like, I could replay 7, but I really want to play 8.
Good.
Yeah.
You should.
I should, but I really want to play 8 now. So,
Yeah.
Understandably, 8 is a quality game.
yeah, so 8 I picked up for like $9 during the holiday sales, so I've got like a physical copy back there that I have to install, but I am planning on starting that now, and we're going to see where that takes me, because now we have werewolves and vampires, and I am all here to figure out how Umbrella has screwed this up again. So, but yeah, that is all I've been playing this week.
All right, I just have a couple quick ones here. Destiny 2's Season 19 we're on right now. Just finish up. There's a big story mission here at the end that wrapped up probably like the last couple of years of Destiny and a couple of pretty important loose ends from Destiny 1 that were still kind of dangling there. So some pretty, I guess if you don't know, Lightfall, the next expansion comes out on the 28th. So we're just like a week and change away from that. So this was the Bungie's been doing more of the like season ending missions, trying to say like, hey, we're leading into the next thing. Here's kind of the storyline. Yeah, it's like the storyline ending for the thing you've been playing. So they're wrapping up not only the story or this season, they're also wrapping up the Witch Queen expansion, and then they're kind of wrapping up after this next expansion after Lightfall. The last expansion is called The Final Shape. That's the last Destiny Light and Darkness story thing. They keep saying like, oh, hey, don't worry, Destiny's going to continue. It's like, yeah, obviously. But they're really marching towards kind of the big fight between kind of light and darkness in this stuff. And the storyline here, Bungie did a really great thing, and they just as soon as it went live, they posted the cutscene for this season out there on their YouTube channel. I'd recommend, if you've ever played Destiny, go watch it. It's really cool, and it leads directly into Lightfall in kind of a cool way. If you haven't played Destiny, it's just a lot of people who you don't know saying a lot of things you don't understand. So it looks cool. There's a bunch of cool shots, but it's still Destiny.
There has been an increase in my video feed of people posting like, oh, if you're an OG Guardian, you know what this is, and it's all clips from like Destiny 1, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that stuff, which
I played that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of
don't know anything else.
Yeah, a lot of the story threads they have sort of started weaving in Destiny 1 are kind of coming to fruition in really interesting ways here. I'm not going to spoil it just in case somebody hasn't had a chance to watch it or play through the mission. It was nice because the mission before you start it, I don't even remember what it's called, but they're like, hey man, this is going to be a challenge. And I was like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever. And yeah, that mission kicked me in the teeth for like a good 30 minutes. So kind of nice to see that. Yeah, they weren't lying about, hey, there's some stuff going on in this thing. So Destiny 2 is really great. I didn't play a lot this season because I'm pretty burnt out and kind of saving my energy for when Lightfall comes out. So it's kind of nice to put a cap on this expansion and this season and all of that. And Destiny's still great. I still like it. Still having fun. So really looking forward to the expansion and kind of getting back into the game a little bit more hardcore here. Powerwash Simulator. I think I have like 2 or 3 levels left in this. I feel like I am still enjoying Powerwash Simulator a lot, but I'm kind of running out of patience for the very large levels that this game is finishing with. Because that's...
Yeah,
That's the thing with
felt
video
like
games.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I was playing it, it was one of those things where I think I got up to about mission 5 or 6. I think it was the playground one. I was like, come on, guys, this scale is insane.
Yeah, I like those ones because they're big environments, but they didn't necessarily feel complex. And like now I'm dealing with big environments that are also complex. So you look at the list of like items you need to clean, and you're just scrolling forever. It's all these like little nuts and bolts sort of things. But I only have like 5 trophies left or something, so I just need to keep stepping through it. I'm still enjoying it. I really did like the 2 statue levels that are in kind of the second half of that game. There's one where you're cleaning like the torso and the head of this giant statue, and one where you're just cleaning like a hand and an arm. And those were really good. I really liked the color they used for them because they were kind of covered in sand and caked on dirt and mud and stuff. But when you start cleaning them off, they're this bright blue color underneath, which I think was kind of neat. But it's still good. I still recommend it. Maybe don't necessarily play it as much as I am all in a bunch of sittings, because maybe that's not the intended way to do it.
Don't tell me what to do.
That's right. Yeah, don't you dare. Yeah. But
I figured I would check this out once the Final Fantasy VII DLC hits. Like I'll play through everything and get to that.
2
April?
weeks, 3 weeks, March.
Or is it March?
2nd or something? It's like right around the corner, and it's going to be free as well.
Yep.
So, real bummed that Hell House is not in there. They really that's a missed opportunity. But they do have the one of the levels is the Shinra display at the top of the Shinra Tower, like the museum display, which I think is a really great choice of stuff. But I would still recommend, if you're going to play this, if you're interested in playing it, I would still really recommend looking at the achievements and the trophies and stuff and going through and doing those as you're doing them, because I think for me that has been a little bit of like extra kind of excitement on it, because if you're just cleaning the stuff, then it's fine. But like that playground level Moon was talking about, the trophy or the achievement for that one is like shooting a ball up the stego slide.
It's so hard.
It was very hard for a little, but when I did, I was like, all right, that was actually pretty fun. And a lot of them are actually really fun. I think there was only maybe 1 or 2 where I'm like, oh, this is really... Like the monster truck tires that you had to clean first was kind of a pain, just because they're hard to get to. But none of them are really that terrible at the end of the day. So, Powerwash Simulator, still really great. Still really enjoying it. Okay. We talked last week during releases about Tomb Raider Reloaded. I wanted to check this out. I'm going to have the largest butt coming up here in a little bit about why you should maybe not play this game.
Wait, I thought that Laura was top heavy, not bottom heavy.
That's right. Okay, so Tomb Raider Reloaded is a run-based sort of bullet heaven game where Lara is automatically shooting, but only when you are standing still. So it turns into this kind of almost puzzle game of, I'm going to avoid a bunch of shots, I'm going to stand still and do a bunch of damage, I'm going to move and I'm going to do a bunch more damage, and kind of juggle that stuff. Every time Lara levels up, you get to choose one of 3 upgrades where it's like, oh, I'm going to shoot in a spread pattern now, or my bullets are going to ignite enemies or poison, or they're going to pierce enemies, so it'll shoot ones behind and stuff like that, which feels pretty good. It's genuinely a lot of fun. Oh, go ahead, man.
Would you describe this as mobile tower defense? Where,
No.
where
It's
you are moving and then become the tower when you stand still?
sort of, but there's no like enemies pathing towards you. It's it really is room to room. So like you're going in, you're clearing out a room, and then you're going to another room and clearing that out. And by the time you clear out like 20 to 30 rooms, you fight a big boss. So it's not really tower defense, but that's why I kind of liken it to a bullet heaven game, kind of like Vampire Survivors, where you're automatically shooting and you're kind of getting bullet hell-ish, but you do have to stop to shoot, unlike Vampire Survivors. So it feels pretty good. It's easy to control. I'm playing this on iPhone, and you can just swipe your finger on any part of the screen and you can move. There are no buttons otherwise. You're just moving and then trying to stay alive. The real bummer of it is pretty much the whole rest of the game is stuck about 10 years ago. But the first time you get in the game, they're like, all right, here's like equipping your items, and here's the like 4 ammo things. Pick up 4 ammo crates in the game to upgrade your ammo to increase damage. And I was like, yeah, that's fine, no big deal. And it's like, all right, spend 5 tickets to do a run. You have 20 tickets. Every like 2 minutes or whatever, you get a ticket. It's just like, oh, no. Why are you doing? It's 2023, guys. Like, what are you doing? And then it'll be every once in a while you'll run into someone in the dungeon that'll say like, hey, I can either heal you like 40% of your HP, or I can give you one of these bonuses. And that's okay. But every once in a while you run into Lara's butler, and he'll be like, hey man, I can give you a pretty great upgrade if you watch an ad. It's like, what are we doing? What are you doing here?
Winston did you dirty is what I'm hearing there.
Yeah, and it's a bummer because it is a really cool game, and I was having a lot of fun, but like a lot of the worst mobile games of yesteryear, it kind of just always has its hand out the whole time and just saying like, hey man, you want to keep having fun? Just pay a couple bucks to recharge your energy. No big deal.
You like fun, don't you?
Yeah, you want these cool pistols? Well, spend a couple bucks on some ammo boxes. Why not? It's a real bummer, and I played it for probably, I don't know, 2 hours maybe on my first playthrough, and I did I fought a bunch of bosses, and a lot of them are cool. There's like a Dark Souls style like flaming spider thing that I fought. That was a lot of fun.
Hey.
Yeah.
Put respect where it's due. Flaming spiders is Devil May Cry's due. Thank you very much.
That's fair. Yeah, that was a good point. But like by the time I was done playing and I was out of tickets, I was sort of like, well, I'm done. Like I don't think I'm going to come back to this, because I'm just going to play it. Because at some point you're going to be like, hey man, you cleared the 3rd zone. Good job. Now it costs you 7 tickets to play a brand new zone. It's like, I know where this is going, and I'm not even going to engage with it at all. So it's a bummer. It looks cool. It controls well. It is a lot of fun to play, but I'm just not going to engage in any of this stuff. I feel like I've been in that position. I've played those games enough in the past to know they're just gonna mess with you at some point, and it's just gonna be a mobile game. So, sorry, Tomb Raider Reloaded. You're kind of cool. You just don't want me to play you without.
Go play the Tomb Raider reboots.
Yeah, those are
awesome.
good. Yeah, go play those. Yeah. And last but certainly not least, the game I've been playing the most of, Theatrhythm Final Bar Line.
Picked it up for my son as well.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of. I have spent the vast majority of my time playing this game, and the game is just like, congratulations, you're 20% of the way through the game. It's like, there's so much in this game. I think I've unlocked about half of the... So they have a list of realms in the game, and for the majority of them, they're just Final Fantasy 1 and 2 and 3. But they also have like Final Fantasy 7, and then the Final Fantasy 7 series is another realm where it's like, here's Crisis Core and some of the spin-offs. Here's a Final Fantasy 7 remaster. It has Advent Children in there too. Then they have like Final Fantasy 13 and the 13 series. So they have kind of that stuff.
My son was also telling me that if you beat One Wing Angel with a certain score, you unlock like CG backgrounds instead of...
So here's one of my problems with this game. So there are 3 types of stages. There's a battle stage, which is kind of the basic gameplay you see, where you have the 4 lanes and notes are coming and you're just hitting the notes. There's the field system, which is the ones where your characters are walking from left to right. You kind of, it's essentially like trying to recreate the overworld thing, where you're wandering around the overworld, you run into an enemy, you do a little bit of fighting, you keep walking, and so on and so forth. And then there's the event ones, where you're essentially playing notes that are Guitar Hero and Rock Band style, coming from top to bottom, and you're playing over essentially like the greatest hits in a video format of those games. And how you unlock those is you finish a realm. So you get all the way to the end, you beat the boss, and then there's typically a boss stage at the end. And at that point, you'll unlock all of those stages for like the stage select and another mode I'll talk about here in a minute. And then you get the like, they call it EMS. I think it's like event movie stage or something. But it's essentially like, hey, you're playing over Final Fantasy VII Remake's coolest CG cutscenes while you're playing One Winged Angel. There's like 4 versions of One Winged Angel in this.
Yeah.
Or 3. It depends on how you count a medley. But what's kind of disappointing is you go through, let's say, most of these realms have like 14 songs, so you'll have to beat 11 of them to finish the realm. Final Fantasy XIV has like 32 or 35 songs in it. It's just a ridiculous number of songs. And then when you finish that, you get that level, but the realm doesn't end with that level. You have to go into the music select area and then go say, oh, I want to go play Final Fantasy V's EMS. To me, it seems like it's kind of like the capstone celebration of this title. And it's basically like, yeah, you beat One Winged Angel from Final Fantasy VII. You unlock the EMS, and you now, usually when you finish a realm, you unlock the villains to put them in your party too. So it's like, you get these 3 villains, you get this movie, you get a bunch of stages, go unlock another realm. And it's like the smallest complaint of mine that I wish kind of finished with this showpiece thing. And it's a little confusing why it doesn't. But it's kind of nice that each one of the games has one, even the games that didn't have CG cutscenes. So like Final Fantasy 1, 3, 5, like all of these games have these cutscenes where you're kind of reliving the greatest hits of those games. So it's super cool. They have a lot of songs in here that I wasn't really expecting them to have. It isn't necessarily the greatest hits of the games. Like Final Fantasy, it starts with Liberi Fatale. Like that it starts with the opening song. It ends with the end theme. It kind of hits all the notes, but every once in a while it'll just be like, yeah, here now you can play I'm a Lion. It's like, oh, I mean, that's a great song, but that's maybe not the first track I would have picked. Like, of course, Man with a Machine Gun is in there because contractually it probably has to be because it's incredible. But it's kind of neat to see them put some of these songs in that maybe aren't your first choice of song, and I really appreciate that.
Like Item Shop B music chorus, or
yeah, and it's like, battle theme 3 for Final Fantasy 3, and it's like, okay, like I think it was Final Fantasy 2 or something that was like, here's a mini boss theme. It's just like, all right, I'm there's probably a bunch of other songs you could have picked. But like Final Fantasy Tactics has Apoplexia, which is like the best song that person has ever written. So that's great. There's like 3 versions of it. It's really good. But I'm having a blast playing it. There's just a metric ton of songs. I have seen the end cutscene and the end credits. You essentially have to. There's one realm you can't open. It's like the Theatrhythm realm, and you have to beat like 8 realms. I think it is 7 or 8 realms. And once you do that, you get. It's essentially like a greatest hits medley selection of all, like every Final Fantasy game. So like here's a battle themes one, here's an overworld themes one, here's like a main character themes medley, and it's much longer than a lot of the other songs are.
Nice.
And the ending movie was really cool. Then when I beat that, I unlocked, what do they call it? Endless World, which is going to be a problem for me. And it's essentially, it's a separate node at the end of the realm list, and they dump you in there, and you get 3 hearts. And when you get to a node, it'll give you 2 or 3 selections, and it's random from every song in the game, even if you haven't unlocked it. I believe it includes the deluxe and the DLC songs. I can't say that 100% for sure. But essentially, like, you'll start and it'll give you 3 levels. It'll be like, all right, here's Wind theme from Final Fantasy 3. Here's Battle at the Big Bridge from Final Fantasy Theatrhythm, Circus Carnival, whatever that one was called.
Yeah.
And here's some song from Final Fantasy 14. And you can pick one of those 3 songs, and all you have to do is naturally beat the song, but you also have to complete the quest that the thing gives you. So when you're going through the game normally, they give you a selection of quests when you are playing a level, and it will be either like, if you're in Final Fantasy 6, it'll be like, hey, you need to have Edgar in your party when you complete this song. Easy enough. Or you need to get 2 treasure chests, and then you'll complete that quest. Or defeat the boss in 25 seconds, or earn 600,000 points. Like they're pretty straightforward. Like, finish this level without using items. Super easy stuff like that. And then the ones that are harder are like defeat 15 enemies in this level, and that's going to be like, you have to have a really good party together to do it, and you're going to have to be doing a lot of damage. They have to be leveled really well. It's like, that's where some of the RPG elements and the leveling elements come from. But when you're clearing the regular realms, you don't have to worry about that. You just have to finish the song, and it'll be like, hey, great, you failed the quest, but who cares? Whatever. You have to complete those quests in the Endless World mode, because if you fail 3 of those quests, your run is done. And your objective is to get as far as you can through before losing those 3 quests. And as far as I know, it is truly endless, and you just kind of get harder and harder quests as you go. So that has been really cool, because I want a method in this game. There's 508 songs in this game once all the DLC is out. I do want a way for it to essentially give me shuffle mode, where it's like, yeah, man, do you want to play something from Final Fantasy 13 or 1 or Final Fantasy Tactics? Here you go. Or like the Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon series. Here you go.
Son is super excited that you can get a Chocobo as a party member.
Oh my god, it's so cute. It's really great. And I don't think I've run into any songs that are bad or sound bad or it's really missed. Like, they've done a really great job of presenting the best quality version of these songs. Like the Final Fantasy 1 through 6 tracks, they sound exactly like they would if you're playing the game. They might sound like a little bit cleaned up, but it's not really like, they don't give you the pixel remaster versions of them. where it's kind of like a reimagining or a cleaned up version of them, which I really appreciate. I think my only other criticism is I wish when you beat levels and you're opening up treasure chests, or you complete quests in the realms, every once in a while they'll give you something called a collecta card, and it is essentially like a shiny card with a piece of art on it. For characters, it's usually like their concept art, and there's a couple of different variations of it. If you get one from a game, it's usually like the album art, or like Final Fantasy 13, it's like that shot of Lightning with her legs crossed sitting in the chair. Like, it's the famous promotional images from these games.
But holding a Louis Vuitton bag.
Right, yeah, sadly I haven't unlocked that one yet. My only criticism is I wish those cards had some information associated with them, because essentially if you get a character one, they buff the character's stats, so it'll be like, oh, this character has like 1.5x stats now, and you can kind of stack them with the cards you get, but I wish that each one of them, it was more like a museum. I wish that, because they're celebrating so much of the game and the music, like so many of these realms, you're only fighting the enemies that you would be fighting in these games. Like, we're watching the Final Fantasy VIII footage here, and you're fighting the little aliens from Final Fantasy VIII, and they only show up in Final Fantasy VIII songs. So like that's really cool. And you're in the Final Fantasy X ones, when you're doing the like the main road from the game, the little like wispy soul things are in the background, but they're only in that level. It's like, you're really celebrating the things that are memorable and great about these games. I wish that you were celebrating these games from like a historical museum perspective with these cards, even if like, here's when the game was released, on what platforms, you know, what's the full title, you know, when did it come to the US, is there any kind of cool little info about these games, or like what's the background behind Ferris from Final Fantasy V, like show me that on some of our cards. I think that's kind of a bummer that they didn't do any of that, but that's certainly not gonna ruin the game or anything. So yeah, Theatrhythm is really great. It's on PS4 and Switch. I really recommend, if you're interested in this, download the demo. The tutorial is really, really good. If you have younger kids, too, that maybe want to play this, there is a simple mode in this game. So when you're looking at the song list, if you hit triangle, you move from standard mode to dual mode. In dual mode, 2 people can play at the same time. So like one person controls the top 2 lanes and one person controls the bottom 2 lanes. And then they have a simple mode where it's only one button. So you don't have to do like the up and down thing. You don't have to do flicking the sticks. It's only hitting the red notes on the rhythm or holding a green note as it goes across. So if you have maybe younger people that want to play it, that's a really good option for them too. And it's really great. It's super cool, and I've been just playing as much of it as I can and unlocking as much as I can, and the game is still just like, yep, you're doing great, 20%, keep on going. And there's only one DLC pack out, which includes Final Fantasy Legend 2's best song, which is the final boss theme, which is really great. And they have the background in that game is the final boss fight, but it looks incredible. So, nice. Theatrhythm, Final Bar Line, really cool. I'm excited to keep diving into it. I'm kind of switching between the standard difficulty and expert, which is the second one, and trying to kind of get my feet wet with a little bit of a harder difficulty there, seeing how high it can go. But yeah, it's really great. I'll be talking about it for a while here as I continue to go through and unlock more stuff and do more quests and things like that.
And as the DLC comes out,
yeah, they have a really great.
They announced the Xenogears is now coming to it too now.
Well, they've announced the full thing. The last DLC pack, they haven't announced what that is yet, but it's like, I think it's every 2 weeks they're putting out. It's like 4 or 5 songs. And yeah, Xenogears is in that. Chrono Cross, Chrono Trigger, Nier, Live a Live. There's a whole bunch of stuff. It's pretty much every SquareSoft game and Square Enix game that is big enough they're putting in there. So it's cool. It's a really great game. I'm really having a blast. That's all I've been playing. Let's take a break.
Do you know too? With the DLC songs, are there characters from those games getting released too? Just the songs?
Yeah, that's the only bummer. Is like there aren't any. Okay. There aren't any realms they're adding, so there won't be like a Xenogears realm, a Chrono Trigger.
Darn.
But the nice part is they unlock all of that stuff when you get the DLC. So it's like, here's the Chrono Trigger section. All 6 or 8 or 10 songs or whatever are unlocked right away, and you can just go play them. And they should show up in the Endless World thing right away.
Okay.
And I think that's the only criticism that I have seen, and I kind of share, would be like, it would be cool if we unlocked Chrono and Marl and Frog and Robo, and like I want to see those characters in the cool Theatrhythm style. But I can understand why they kind of didn't do that.
Yeah,
it's a missed opportunity, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, because I would love it with the gears if they had it where you were switching in and out of the gears and they changed the button prompt just a little bit to match that battle style.
Right.
But
yeah, it'd be really cool. It's a very cool thing. Hello, Zachary A in chat. Thanks for listening to the Post of the Fall reactions. We do close the season out with the very latest album. What was that, Ghostlight? I think it was called. So yeah, it was very hard for Moon to pick. We covered 5 albums. It was really hard for Moon to pick 5 albums out of, they have like 15 albums or something. Like, they have a very prolific catalog. So I really felt for him in the same way that I had trouble with the Nine Inch Nails season, which is like, oh, how do I just pick 5? Yikes. Goodness. So it's good stuff. That season turned out really nicely. I don't know what else. Let me look at news stories here. I'm assuming there's nothing last minute here that is happening in the video game world, but you never know.
Not really.
Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom art book leaks months ahead of release. Yikes.
Yep.
That's a bummer. Genshin Impact still rolling along. New character.
Yeah, I know. I know everyone's looking forward to the new update and the new character, which apparently the new character is supposed to roll into the general banners once the special banner is completed.
Oh, nice.
So, because I think they've been doing that whole thing with like the bolting, where it's like, you just have to wait like another update or whatever to get them again.
That's always a bummer. That's what I like about when Marvel Snap releases new cards for like a season. They're exclusive to that season, and then I think either the next season or like one season after that, they get released into the highest tier. So like the people that play a ton, they'll probably unlock them then if they didn't play the season, but at least they're available in the game itself, which is nice.
Yeah. No, my son and I were joking because he downloaded Genshin Impact again because he wanted to check. He always checks it out when the new updates come out. Mm-hmm. And he was making fun because he's like, "Look, I have the rarest character ever, a C1 Amber." Like, yeah, I think I finally maxed her out before the last time I finished playing. So. Yeah. I mean, it was a good game. It's just after a while, that end game, just the grind for that's kind of ridiculous.
My problem was that that game moves too fast. So like, if I can't dedicate, like, Destiny 2 is my primary games as a service game, and like that's the one I'm gonna play when I'm like really playing Destiny 2. I'm usually playing it every day for at least a little bit, even if it's like I'm in here for 15 minutes, I can fart around for a little bit, do a couple bounties, but like if you're not playing Genshin pretty regularly, I felt like I fell behind pretty quickly.
Yeah, which
is fine. Like that's their game to design, but it wasn't super. I couldn't keep up with it, which is fine.
Yeah.
It was a cool game, though. All right, let's cook our way through the second segment here. We'll save Angel Eye's question again for next week, but we're sort of out of time here. So just got too many games. Too many games are out. Too many games to talk about. It's the good stuff. All right, are you guys ready to get started?
Yup. Yeah, Moon's ready.
I can feel it. Sorry, Moon's headphones broke in the middle of a recording.
I said yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, you were still muted, so...
Yeah, Moon's headphones broke in the middle of a Critical Misses recording earlier today, so I just wanted to double and triple check.
Nah, he doesn't need to hear anything.
Well, and the fun part is, because we use Adobe Audition, it has like a number of fail-safes in it, so his headphones died, and so Audition is like, stopping recording, boss. Is like, no. Oh, okay, thank you. That's great. Thanks, Audition.
I mean, it's better than it transitioning to something else, and then all of a sudden you have massive feedback coming from everywhere.
100%. But it's also like, just I can manage my own audio devices. Audition. Yeah. All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of February 20th, 2023, starting with Aka R coming out for the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series Console, Switch, and PC. This is Jeff Minter / Lamasoft's new game. You probably know what you're getting into with that and whether or not you like his brand of psychedelic arcade weirdness. If you don't remember Aka R, you're probably not as old as I am and as weird into the Atari back catalog, but he's making a spiritual successor to that game, which came out like 78, 79, something like that. So yeah. Jeff Minter's making another one of those. So if you don't know what Jeff Minter or Lamasoft is, don't worry about it. It's probably not going to be for you. They're intense.
100%. I did not know who he was. When I learned who he was, it was 100% not for me. So
yeah, those I respect the hell out of those games. They are certainly not for. They are too much. My brain cannot do that. Atomic Heart comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series consoles, and PC. This is Game Pass day and date.
Yep. Already got it pre-installed.
Yeah, this is the kind of like Eastern Bloc BioShock-ish first-person weirdness steampunk thing.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I'm
creepy.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what this is actually going to turn out to be, because I feel like we've seen a lot of like gameplay snippets, and we've seen a little bit of like promotional stuff, but I don't know if we've seen a kind of a larger moment-to-moment thing about this. So
did you see that Jensen Ackles did a commercial for it?
I did. It's a very weird commercial, which is on brand, I guess, for that game. But yeah, real weird stuff. I'm really curious. I probably won't play it. I don't think this game seems like my speed, but I'm very, very curious to hear what this turns out to be. So tune in next week for our potential coverage of Atomic Heart.
Wait for the inevitable roguelite update where...
yeah, that's how they get me, man. And we'll put it in the spreadsheet for We Rogue Like It. That's how they do it. Like a Dragon Ishin comes out on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series consoles, and PC. This is the Impossible Yakuza game. It is coming to the West. This is the samurai one from whatever century that would be. This was the one that was always going to kind of be too complicated / impossible to technically translate, so they remade it. Like, I'll show you. I'll just make a brand new one. It seems like it's... I mean, if you like the Yakuza, if you like the Like a Dragon, the Judgment games, it's kind of more of that. And you already know if you like it or not. If you don't know, play like Yakuza Like a Dragon. You might like that. And if not, try Yakuza 0. And if you don't like either one of those, they're not for you. And that's okay. They're pretty good otherwise.
Or you spend 8 hours playing nothing but slot cars. Whatever.
Hey, man, I thought we weren't going to talk about that anymore. That shot of him when the slot car goes off the tracks, and he's just like, no! Like, that's classic. So good. The PSVR 2 comes out. That's PS5 only, just in case you didn't know that. It doesn't work on PS4. This comes out on...
Why not? That's unacceptable.
The sheer
I can't-
power of the
I can't.
PS5 home entertainment
PS4
computer
doesn't
system.
have a USB-C. That's it.
That's
Pure
right.
and simple.
That's right. That's
Yes.
right. So this comes out on the 22nd. A couple highlights here of games. There are a lot of games coming out for this, which I am very surprised about. Cities VR Enhanced Edition is coming out. That looks pretty cool. Fantavision. Remember they're making a VR Fantavision, which I bet will actually be pretty neat. Gran Turismo 7 is getting an update to allow you to race in VR, which...
No, thanks.
Godspeed. more power to you, man. Horizon Call of the Mountain is that spin-off first-person Horizon thing that looks pretty neat. Moss and Moss Book 2 bundle. So they're kind of updating those for PSVR 2 and putting them out. Friend of the show, Bill Sifford, let me know that he just finished, I think it was Moss Book 2. He really liked it. He said the both of those games were really super cool.
I'll say the first one was really cool. So
yeah, it seems like Moss Book 2 is kind of more of the same, which is like, yeah, that seems pretty cool. So glad those are coming out for PSVR 2. Resident Evil Village, I forgot that had a VR mode. Yikes!
yep.
They're updating that to continue to punish us.
Now we have Boston's patron goals fulfilled.
$550 for PSVR 2, and then Res Infinite gets the PSVR 2 upgrade. They also are doing a paid PS5 upgrade that's doing... they're supporting the DualSense. They're doing... It's like faster load times. It's a bunch of other stuff. I think it's only $10, which seems pretty fair for all the stuff they're doing.
I'm sorry, but that might be worth it just for the DualSense update.
That's why I'm going to be spending the $10 and trying, because like, what are you going to do with a controller? These
are the same guys who put out a mat, we will say, for the original Res.
Yes, the trance vibration controller. Well, and they also did the cool thing on the 360 version where you could connect multiple 360 controllers and like put two on your shoulders and put them like two on your hips, and then they would vibrate differently when you're like, oh, I have 4 controllers. It was a cool thing. That was fun. And Tetris Effect Connected is also getting the PSVR 2 upgrade and the paid PS5 upgrade. I will also be spending the $10 on that because I also want to see what that's going to do with the DualSense, and my wife and I play Tetris Effect a lot. So, and then because it's a VR thing, Thumper is also coming out for it. I feel like Thumper and Beat Saber are like always the two that are kind of coming out, which is great. I did not see it. Beat Saber is coming out for this. I'm assuming it will later.
I don't think they've announced it yet, but they keep getting asked.
Yeah, I feel like
And
it's
they
just a
keep
matter
not
of
saying
time.
anything.
Saber,
So yeah.
Yeah. Blood Bowl 3 comes out for PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series Console, Switch, and PC. I would really wish if Blood Bowl could come out not near other games I really want to play very badly, because I would really like to try Blood Bowl at some point, but Destiny 2 Lightfall comes out in like 8 or something days, so sorry buddy. I think I would like you, Blood Bowl, but you keep coming out of the wrong
Bastard.
Yeah. Adios. Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe comes out for the Switch. You've probably seen trailers for this. It's just Return to Dreamland. They just put a cell shade on it and put it on the Switch, and they have that big post-game expansion-y thing. I don't know. This looks cool. Kirby games are always good. Has there been a bad Kirby game? Don't answer that. I don't want to know. Don't break my heart.
Not that I have played.
Yeah. Yeah, so many of those games are just so good. And then lastly here, Octopath Traveler 2 comes out PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC. There is a demo out now where your progress carries over the full game. It's like a 3-hour demo where you can play as much as you can, and then at the 3 hours they kind of cut you off. Reviews of those have been pretty good, but I didn't really like that first one, and I'm kind of a little tired of how blurry that engine is, so maybe this is not a pickup for me, but
so far the reviews are at least saying they fixed a lot of the issues that people had with the first one.
Yes, yeah.
So, we'll see when it actually releases, but...
Yeah, it sounds like it's a much smoother experience with kind of less difficulty spikes in the middle of it, and maybe kind of
Those weren't spikes, man. Those were mountains.
Yeah, they were
like Mount Olympus mountains of difficulty.
That was
You go from doing okay to I can't advance anymore.
right. I'm doing 0 damage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like they've smoothed a lot of that out. So I'm kind of Octopath Traveler, the first one, the issues with it didn't really rear its head until the back half of that game. So I'm curious to see once everybody gets their hands on it for real. That I wonder how much of those issues will persist. So,
yeah.
In our only news story this time, a positive news. Hey guys, we got a good one this week. We got a good news story.
We found it.
We found the one. Dead Island 2 goes gold and is releasing a week early. It's a twofer.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. No, this is unacceptable as good news. I will be the Debbie Downer right now. Considering how long this game has taken to develop, this does not count.
It's coming out,
If it
man.
was Dead Island 2 goes gold and released 6 years ago,
That's right.
that's good
No,
news.
that's Goat Simulator 3.
Oh, well, yeah. I always get the two confused.
Yeah, so instead of being released on April 28th, it'll be released on April 21st. I saw a bunch of news stories that are like, hey, they didn't give us a reason why it's releasing early. And it's like, what do you care? It's done. Shut up.
And then
it's coming out,
and then
man.
next week we'll get a news story that says, "Oh, we didn't realize we said the 28th. Whoops."
Yeah, we meant 2028. We lost the Gold Master. So fun story.
Now you've said it,
Yeah,
Mr. Skull and Bones. Now you've said it.
There's
You're in trouble now.
There's a news story about Skull and Bones. An investor asked at a Ubisoft investment call in the last week or two about like, hey man, Skull and Bones, what's going on that little guy? What's going on there?
Uh-huh.
And the Ubisoft executive that spoke up said they claimed that there's a very, very fun, totally playable version. We just haven't shown it to anybody yet. It's like, guys,
We just haven't shown that aspect of the game yet.
yeah, you wouldn't know her. She goes to school in Canada. Like, just don't even.
I
She's
think-
like super hot though. Like, don't even.
I think it may have been pushed to 2024 as well.
Yeah. The thing is, they have to put it out because of the deal that they made with the government of Shanghai. That is
But they
largely
said that
funding
about the
that
last
game.
release date.
Yeah. Well, no, the thing is they have to put the game out. They didn't say, like, it needs to come out now. It's just like, hey, we gave you a lot of money for this thing. You can't just cancel it. So they're just like, Weekend at Bernie's dragging the shambling corpse across the finish line. And I will probably spend $70 to play it and talk about it on the show because, man, that content is just going to write itself. Hopefully. Yeah. Anyhoozle. We're going to move Angel Eye's question here over to next week because we are out of time and we've been recording for a really long time and my voice is going to go. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page. Don't forget to go subscribe on the YouTube channel. A reminder that everything we post on the public feed, we shoot video for as well. Not Wayward Sons. That's excluded. So don't. There's no video version of that first episode. But everything like Game Club and We Roguelike It and Pup and this show and all that stuff is all over there. Critical Misses. Don't forget all that. You can get early access to all of that stuff over at patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones and numbers.
Told you about all the cool early access, behind the scenes, exclusive, world exclusive audio that you can get over. We don't have Jeff Keighley, I'm sorry. But if you know him, tell him to sign up for use some of that money, some of that Game Awards money to sign up for our Patreon. Because all of the money that you generous patrons throw our way goes towards paying for hosting and paying for the software we use, and hopefully at some point some sort of upgrades. I can figure out what mic would sound good with my voice other than this Audio-Technica mic that's actually still, knock on wood, hanging in. Don't curse me, audio gods.
You always gotta
No, what have I
open your
done?
mouth.
But if you can't support us financially, the best way to support us is sharing on social media. Whatever social media platform doesn't cost you money to post there nowadays. LOL, Topic of the day. Telling your friends. Word of mouth is huge for anything you enjoy. Not only this show, but anything else you love or live. Whatever. I'm not going to judge.
Live, laugh, patron, please.
That's right.
Boo.
That's right. Boo, get out. Don't forget to rate the show. The maximum number of stars or likes or whatever things you can rate. If it's less than perfect, keep that to yourself. You write it down on a note and then swallow it, and then that will be your review. Don't put it out on the internet. I think that's it. This is getting weird. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
Oh.
Bye. Send all complaints to nobody reads this at the dumpster.
That's right. That's right. All right, Nip. What are your titles?
I have one that's already going to get vetoed. Increase certain sizes of certain things.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
A Crumb of Hope.
Mm-hmm.
They're Finding Their Fun. Vicious Beats Block. And Live, Laugh, Patreon.
Moon, what do you have?
Hey, you put it out there.
Yeah, it's in the universe now.
I regret it now.
Yeah.
TGI Fridays money. Talk about video games. Less yeast involved.
Mm.
An M&M of Hope. Green Noggin. Demon Mode. Huge Night Meme. Very quick and very smooth. Don't you dare veto that one. Now with less EDM. And have you even beat the game?
I missed Now with less EDM. I'm going to write that down. The only one I wrote down was an M&M of Hope. So like you saying, like a Crumb of Hope. An M&M of Hope. And then I have Now with less EDM. Is there anything else that you guys jumped out at you?
I mean, it's either M&M or Live, Laugh, Patron or whatever the hell that thing is.
I'm with an M&M of Hope.
My kid still says M&M's. It's like, no, it's just
M&M's.
Yeah, it's just M&M. And she's like, yeah, M&M's. It's just like, no, it's okay. It's like hippopotamus.
It used to break my mind when the rapper Eminem, Slim Shady, came out, because you would look at his name and then try to pronounce it, and now it's just easier in my mind to just think M&M's to say his name, or else I just get tongue tied.
Right. All right, I circled
Necessary
an M&M
used
of
to be
Hope.
that word for me.
Which word?
Necessary.
Necessary.
Yeah.
Necessary.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes you look at a word and it just breaks you.
Anti-establishmentarianism.
Yep.
I'm ready when you are, by the way.
I am ready.
Okay. Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 800 for February 20th, 2023. An M&M of Hope.
Better than breadcrumbs.
Please let it be the peanut butter one.
So good. I can't get my kid to eat those. She'd love them. She's like, no thanks, Daddy. I won't like those.
That was a Supernatural reference too, by the way, Boston.
Hello, listen to Wayward Sons. Available now. Patreon.com/UNM1.
Putting Easter eggs everywhere.
That's right. That's right. All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening and watching. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
All right. And we can stop recording. Click. No, stop. Stop. Thank you.
Audacity comes to a crawl.
Oh, just like wouldn't. I was hitting the stop button. It's like, yep, still recording. It's like, no, stop. No, don't do the thing, man.
Hey, better that way than the other way around.
That is true.
I know when I hit, what was it, last week when we had that big one, and I hit save, and it just kind of froze for a minute. I'm like, don't you fucking dare.
Boss, please. Yeah.
That'll happen.
Yeah. All right. Thanks as much, as always, gents. Fantastic episode. As usual, I will see you guys
next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.